Why do I drop so many shows that I love? What's the point of spending so much time on a show than dropping it? Why not just finish it if you have the time? And what shows do I have the audacity to admit dropping? To be clear, here's a little insight on how I feel about anime. The 3 episode rule is complete bullshit, and if you honestly still believe in it, I feel sorry for you. Now, if you don't want to waste your time on a show you're not immediately enjoying before really knowing any of what the show is about or who the fuck any of the characters are, then drop it. No point forcing yourself to watch something for the just-in-case factor that I always lean into. To give you an idea on how much I believe in finishing every show you start, I watched all of Handshakers. And this isn't like I have issues with SAO, so I'm gonna over-exaggerate and make fun of both sides of the argument thing. I legitimately hate that show and despised my time spent watching it. But in that time, I also kinda loved it. So what do I mean by that? In shows that you hate, it's infinitely times easier to find what things are important to you in a show because you'll either become passionately angry about how bad something is, or you'll find small things that the show is doing well. There are little things that I never would have known how important they are to me without Handshakers. What some people would call ugly, bright, unique, in-your-face, I don't know what the fuck is going on visuals, they really appeal to me. And the look of the show is one of the two things that kept me going. Even more important than weird styles, something that turns me on even more, and you might have guessed it from my last couple Angels of Death episode reviews, is evaluating how well an individual character is able to carry a series or even just a single episode. This never would have become anywhere near apparent unless I thought to myself during the torture fest of horrible music, action, plot, pacing, and characters that is Handshakers. Because of one side character, Makihara, I consistently found myself thinking that he was the only interesting thing happening in this mistake of a show. And as English voice actor Anthony Bowling really stuck in my head for how impactful a single good voice role can be in breaking up any despair you feel from a boring show or scene. Without hating Handshakers as much as I did, the Angels of Death scene where Eddie comes right up behind us and whispers would not have had any legitimate impact on me. I wouldn't love my Haber husband because I wouldn't have cared about voice actors, only the characters themselves. And the joy of hearing a familiar voice or reading a good name would not exist for me. I would never feel instant love towards a character just because it's Loxus from Fairy Tail. It would have just been the same voice actor doing another character with no pre-established emotions from my end. I knew I hated Handshakers just from the first episode. Hell, I didn't want to finish the first episode, but I forced myself through it, and thank God I did. And this isn't exactly an isolated incident. One of my favorite shows from this season, and one nobody seems to care about my opinion on, Island, is in a similar yet very different spot. I first watched the show when working on my 2018 summer anime recommendations list, and I wasn't impressed. If Funimation didn't dub this show, I would have ditched it after just one episode. Forcing myself to watch the first few episodes dubbed had me completely fall in love with it. It's one of my favorite anime of the season, and it's because of the little things that I just can't experience in Japanese. Although no Angels of Death, I know I'm pre-ordering the Blu-ray if Funimation ever makes one when it finishes. I'm still waiting on Kino's Journey 2017, by the way. So if watching shows I hate is somehow such a pleasant experience and can sometimes make me admire them or end up loving them under completely different circumstances, then why the fuck would I ever drop a show I'm already enjoying? It mainly comes down to one reason, and it's fear. Now, I know that sounds dumb, but hear me out. The Ancient Magus Bride and Darling in the Franxx are two of my favorite anime from the past couple years, and one of them is in my top 5, although at 5th place. Both had, in my opinion, horrible drop-offs in their ending episodes. Darling in the Franxx had that whole Strelitzia Apes thing instead of just, a normal mech, and it looked horrible compared to the beauty happening around it. And The Ancient Magus Bride wasn't much better. I absolutely hate Cardaphilus as Chisei's answer to her problems, and I've been rewatching the show trying to figure out a way that is a better idea than getting help from the Fae, who she's loved by and is basically worshipped by. Both of these shows fix themselves in their last episode with some touchy, emotional, character-driven moments, but my record with horrible ending shows still scares me. It scares me to a point of when I absolutely love the ending to Season 6 of Voltron, I'm terrified to watch Season 7 because I'm convinced it'll ruin it. I've heard so many good things about the new season, and I've already spent an entire week literally only watching and talking about Voltron, so for me to break what basically became a habit and an addiction at that point was so much more trouble than I would have been caused by watching what I've been told is the best season yet. No matter how much I love this show, the thought of it being ruined when I know full well how much I can adore a show with a bad ending scares me into dropping it. But I know that no matter my experience with this new season, I'm gonna walk away with something positive gained. Either I ignore Season 7 exists if it's bad, like I did with Children of the Whales after episode 9 or 10. I admire all the small things I love about this show, like Pidge just being Pidge. Thanks for watching. This video is definitely one of my favorite I've ever made, and I'd really appreciate it if you weebs showed it any sort of love. That could be leaving a like or comment, or even going as far as to share it with somebody you think will like it. Thank you. Make sure to check your screen for the 1am anime playlist and a video YouTube seems to think you'll dork out over, or check the description for anything that you need. Well, peace weebs.